Welcome to your Full Circle Friday. My name is Sara, a certified trauma recovery coach with Full Circle Wellspring. Trauma causes a disruption in our neural pathways and can halt survivors from staying connected to themselves, others, and the world around them. They can abandon or exile parts of themselves behind a wall of shame and fear. These episodes are dedicated toward understanding trauma and learning about outside resources, adjunctive services, recommendations, techniques, coping skills, and more to support and encourage the survivor on their journey back to their authentic selves. Let's get started. Today's topic is trauma-informed care. I want to make sure that survivors understand the importance of trauma-informed care, practices, and businesses. There's also another important factor when considering therapeutic care, which is called trauma-trained. This is what I want to share with you today to be sure that you have the best possible options of finding people and professionals that will gently and responsibly care for you and your specific needs. Trauma-informed care, also called trauma-responsive care, or TIC for short, is a model of caring for clients, students, patients, employees, or anyone under your advisement with not just the standards of dignity and respect. This practice goes deeper by changing the lens in which it looks at other humans and what they might be going through. This approach is assumptive that others have been through traumas, and it's willing to acknowledge the after effects that an individual may be suffering. The 6 guiding principles, according to the CDC, are safety, trustworthiness and transparency, peer support, collaboration, empowerment and choice, and recognizing cultural issues and differences. A business or a school, for instance, stating that they are TIC means they are equipped to acknowledge any trauma impact and to work hard to not re-traumatize someone in the aftermath of any incidences that need TIC to be implemented. Some examples of this would be how an establishment's guidelines are set to handle disciplinary issues, behavioral crises, or the uncovering of substance misuse. This also looks like creating an inclusive environment welcoming everyone, leadership being examples of vulnerability when mistakes are made, using calm and clear communication of desired behaviors, allowing everyone to set their own healthy boundaries, not labeling, giving ample notice before making changes that affect the company's population, making sure there is an open door waiting for anyone who would like to speak about services or crisis management or to discuss their stress-related matters, and for considering different cultures so as to not make generalized statements. Looking for trauma-informed doctors, legal aid, insurance carriers, childcare, schools, and workplaces, this can be the difference in your overall well-being and your continued healing journey. Imagine making huge strides in your trauma recovery only to be re-traumatized by a doctor who doesn't know how to approach a weight-related issue with trauma-informed care to discuss the possibility of disordered eating or triggers around your weight. Say you're working diligently in your personal childhood trauma healing, but you have so much work-related stress that you start to break down. You would want an HR team that you can feel safe with to discuss your issues and to figure out how to implement changes to improve your well-being so you can remain an effective employee. Without this, your boss may see some behaviors that seem like you're not, quote, giving work your best effort, and end up letting you go without even knowing what you're dealing with. It's important for someone who's stepping out of a domestic violence situation to have compassionate childcare for their children so that there's room for some flexibility in dealing with the parent pickup, for instance, as well as being empathetic to your child's behaviors, which may be stemming from a disruptive home life. A step beyond trauma-informed care and business practices, I believe it incredibly important to find therapeutic support that is actually trauma-trained. This would be your therapist, coach, psychiatrist, and anyone else in charge of your mental health care. There is a clinical difference here between going to a therapist who has trauma-informed care guidelines, like their standards of administration, practices, policies, and consent, versus a therapist who is specifically trauma trained in helping you with your trauma history and mental health and well-being. As trauma survivors, as often as you can, you want to try to find trauma responsive businesses. It would be the same as finding grocery stores that have a wide organic section or buying from vendors with cruelty-free products as some examples of circumstances that would honor a person's goals and desires in that person's life. For you, a trauma-informed gas station may not be important, but your workplace or community co-op that you visit regularly would be very helpful. For your clinical needs like therapy, trauma-trained is the key words you're looking for. And as a trauma-trained coach, I would love to help you surround yourself with people who can be sensitive with you along your journey. If you need advice, support, or person or region-specific resources, feel free to reach out. I look forward to helping you with this and any of your other trauma recovery needs. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Trauma Survivorhood. This has been written and created by your host, Sara, a trauma recovery coach. For more info about me, trauma recovery resources, or to check out our support groups, classes, free survivor circles, private coaching, and more, visit www.fullcirclewellspring.com. Schedule a complimentary 20-minute discovery call to see if coaching is right for you. For the latest info on schedules and updates, follow us on Facebook at Full Circle Wellspring. All other media, social links, blogs, and show notes are posted in the episode guide below. Until next time, be well, survivors.